Good morning, or at least welcome everybody to today's Community Day with the Feng Shui Society. My name is Gina Lazenby, I'm the current chair, and we've got a fabulous day of a good 5 hours of very interesting presentations and connections for people. The theme is from tradition to today, how Feng Shui has evolved over time. So we'll be kind of looking at the whole Feng Shui story by looking at various case studies and how today's modern Feng Shui practitioners are applying those. And in my introduction today, I just thought I'd reflect on, I suppose, my own Feng Shui journey, which started not in a Zen-like way. As often these things do, something happens in one's life to cause, a crisis, which I suppose it's a resistance to a transition. My life was transitioning. I had had my own very successful award-winning PR marketing company, but I ran to the edge, I suppose. And then the trail of breadcrumbs appeared, and it led me one Friday evening to the Community Health Foundation in London, where Simon Brown, who is still has his own school, he's still here in the Feng Shui conversation, was hosting William Spear. And there was an evening lecture, there was a weekend course on the transforming power of intuitive Feng Shui. Not sure how I got there, but when I did hear or see the invitation, my heart was just singing. There was a kind of an unspoken calling. And over the weekend, my mind was blown, as it would be. I do remember in the process of being unwell, somebody saying that maybe my office was having an effect on me. And I thought they were absolutely nuts. How could my office, how could my home have any effect on me? Because there's my home, there's me, we're separate. And of course, that weekend, I learned that, the two are very deeply connected. I invited William Spear to come to my home, which I had just renovated a new home in the West End. I was just moving into a new office. And because of my connections, I got a picture of us in the PR magazine, the marketing magazine, and I made the changes as suggested. And I do remember after that weekend thinking, if this works, then people need to know about it. And that's what I set out to do. I gathered together other students of Williams, and we founded the Feng Shui Society, and I was the first chair. I went on to create a personal development centre in London, which the London Evening Standard called the Empowerment Emporium, and featured a lot of courses in human potential and a lot of courses in Feng Shui. And because that's what it's not just design of the home, it is about your own growth. So I could see that. And pulled together from teachers all over the world. R.D. Chin's here. He was one of our teachers. Who else? Cristina was one of our teachers. I think Will was part of our team at the time. And this is in the 90s, and created the Feng Shui Network International with a very broad church of teachings and things to learn. Classical Feng Shui astrology, 9-star key, health, electromagnetic fields, ghost busting, all sorts of things, sacred space. And then I brought out my own book, the Feng Shui House book, and then turned my attention to the Healthy Home. And I still have the Healthy Home. It's a retreat. I think, RD, you visited it, haven't you? It's a retreat house now. And it used everything that made a home healthy. So that was the buzz, the hunger in the 90s. People really wanted to hear about this. I used my PR and marketing skills to get it in every magazine and newspaper. And then, the 25 years since has been a maturation of that. There's a lot of schools, a lot of knowledge, a lot of marrying together this ancient wisdom, these ancient teachings, which weren't so accessible. It was Howard Choi that took me to China with Roger Green for 2 weeks, and actually went into buildings where these books had been hidden and saved from being burnt, but hundreds of years old Feng Shui texts, and had the most incredible journey. I remember we had a 5-hour train journey to Xi'an, I think it was. Maybe it was to see the terracotta soldiers. And on that train, there were groups of Feng Shui practitioners from Australia, Britain, and Austria and Germany. And we were in clusters, clustered around Howard or Roger or other teachers. And it was a 5-hour knowledge exchange. It was like the best Feng Shui school you could have. And I thought, this is so wonderful. I want to recreate this. And I did, actually. I created a 2-week summer school at Reading University where I brought teachers from all over the world, students from all over the world. And we had 2 weeks of courses and sharing, not only just the lesson learning, because in the early days there weren't really any books, but live knowledge, sharing wisdom, talking about case studies. It was absolutely fantastic. And so my journey has been then in wellness and the healthy home. And we've had a big shift in 2020. I think lockdown brought a new appreciation of home, or a new evaluation of homes, where people were forced to stay at home globally. And we're reflecting now on seeing homes as places where people work from home in a way they're never used to in the amount that they do. Children being homeschooled there. Maybe we have more multi-generations. We certainly have more caring needs for older people. That's happening globally. We have children, you can say children with special needs or different learnings, because there's a lot of children being, for whatever reason, the special children being born, children with needs, and they need a different kind of home. We have electromagnetic fields. We're building in places where we have geopathic stress that we wouldn't necessarily have built before. So there's quite a lot of things coming together. And I've just been to the Health Optimization Summit in London, where they were selling red light, which I've got in my room, red light panels. There's all sorts of equipment that I've got. And they're selling far infrared saunas, for which I don't currently have the space, hyperbaric oxygen tanks for your own home. So there's a lot of high-tech wellness coming in, apart from what you might cook in your kitchen. So homes are kind of under pressure. And at the same time, we want a calm space. We want to bring in nature. So anything that we can do to help people get the most out of their homes in this modern era, using our approach of, easy to grasp principles of form school and an intuitive approach. Everybody should know that. But then on top of that, or underneath that, we've got the classical feng shui with this hidden energy blueprint that, the destiny of the house, the destiny of the occupants, the moment in time. These are things that are much harder to grasp. They've been around a long time. They have huge validity. And it does take a certain amount of learning and expertise to be able to bring this to people. And I think this is what our participants, our teachers today, have brought these energies together. And this is what we're going to have a very interesting day in exploring about how Feng Shui is presented in modern times. And I think on that note, I'm going to introduce our first speaker today. I did actually mention Howard Choi, a respected member of the Feng Shui community of long time, who sadly passed away this year. And a colleague of his is going to share a perspective, a tribute to Howard. And that's Luigi Sraffi, who's currently based, I believe I know you're from Rome. I think you're based in Rome now, Luigi. Luigi's an architect and designer, and he's an interesting long-standing career. In the 1970s, he was involved in radical architecture and design movements. And of course, being involved in that and in projects on bioarchitecture and ecological design, very much ahead of its time, I would say. That would lead anyone to a deep yearning for understanding of Feng Shui. And that's what he set up his own school in Rome in 2007, but made a collaboration for a European school with, or an international school with Howard Choi, which is called the Feng Shui for Environmental Designers. And that's interesting, isn't it, to bring this knowledge through a knowledge of architecture for environmental design. So I'm going to pass the baton to you, Luigi. Welcome you. Thank you to share. Thank you.
Thank you, Gina. Can I share the screen? Please excuse me if I read my speech. I'm not fluent in English, and my pronunciation too isn't great. So Good morning, everyone, and a warm welcome to you all. Um, Please forgive me for reading my speech. Unfortunately, I am not fluent in English. Today, I would like to take a few moments to remember together with you our dear friends and colleague Howard Choi, architect and Feng Shui master. But before I begin, I would like to thank the Feng Shui Society for this kind invitation. It is always a pleasure to be back here among colleagues and friends. I founded the Feng Shui Architecture and Design School in 2007, and in 2016, something truly special began. A close collaboration with Howard. He used to come to Rome twice a year to teach at my school, and it was there that he met Daniela, who was a student at the time. In 2020, our collaboration took a new form. We officially launched FSED, Feng Shui for an Environmental Designer, a project born from our shared vision. Howard, Daniela, and myself, three architects passionate about Feng Shui, with one common goal: to create an open intercultural school founded on a deep love for teaching beyond the usual boundaries. And today, I'll but remember Howard with all my heart. To me, he was not only an unforgettable partner, but also a true friend. And I know that for many of you here today, he was a dear friend as well. It's now been 4 months since he began his journey beyond his work. I can no longer see him, but I like to imagine him somewhere practicing Qigong or quietly sketching a peaceful landscape in pencil. To his students, he was a brilliant teacher, a tireless guide, and above all, a person of great humanity and empathy. At FSED, we worked as a team to create a new approach to Feng Shui, one that responds to the needs of our time while remaining faithful to its classical roots. That's how our experiment approach was born, one that today is supported by a growing digital library of case study and written materials. And as I speak to you today, I truly feel that Howard is still with us in the ideas we continue to explore in the project that lie ahead in the international community that, thanks in part of him, continue to grow and evolve. Thanks you for listening. And now um, I showed you only um, some slides with the house library, digital library. The FSED library is the result of 5 intense years of Feng Shui courses and masterclasses taught by the FSED teaching team, collected in a digital library of illustrated PDF books and lessons recordings. Howard Choi, with his legacy of knowledge and ethics, is the light that illuminated this work. We hope it has served and continues to be a source of inspiration for Feng Shui students and researchers. Daniela and I will continue with this work in open practice. And the last, the FSED philosophy, seeing Feng Shui outside the box. This statement means having a deep understanding of the principle and school that make up the vast body of Feng Shui teachings. Such understanding, combined with a clear vision of today's world issues, allows for flexible, contextual and creative solutions, avoiding the rigid and predetermined imposition of rules and principles. It is essential to recognize that each situation is unique and deserves an original and specific approach. What does in the future hold for FSED? In the near future, FSED will continue to be a Feng Shui training school for those who identify with its experimental methodology. Here, the skills of qualified Feng Shui consultants will be refined, enabling them to work behind rigid frameworks and without drifting in the misleading New Age interpretation. Thank you for your attention.
Luigi, thank you very much. That's really lovely. Lovely to hear about Howard. And now we're going to talk to your partner in your endeavor with the Feng Shui for environmental design. That's Daniela Pastore. We're inviting Daniela now to do a presentation. She's going to do a case study. Daniela is a landscape architect and Feng Shui consultant. She has been studying and since 2015, integrating classical Chinese Feng Shui into her practice. Is teaching this new holistic design to architects, which is something that's much needed. People involved in the building of communities and new homes really will benefit from having this knowledge. And in 2024, she launched her own brand of Deep Feng Shui, a deeper level of learning. So Daniela, I'm going to invite you to give your presentation. I think it's 20 or 30 minutes. You actually know. I'm going to retreat and let you bring up your slides.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Welcome.
Okay. Yes. So here we are. Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm muted.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yes.
So I first would like to thank you, Gina and the Feng Shui Society for this invitation. It's a great honor and opportunity. Also, I would like to thank all the participants to this meeting because we share this passion, this love for Feng Shui. And I would like to thank you, Luigi, for this introduction and this tribute to Howard, because each time that I listen to Luigi talking about Howard, I come in touch with my emotions about all the years that we spent together, but most of all the spirit that was connecting us and probably still connect us in what we do. I had the privilege to work with Howard for 5 years. This is, when I think about it, I really am extremely grateful because it was a cooperation. It was almost a daily cooperation for 5 years because by creating these courses, we always were challenging us so much in proposing new topics, but also always reinforcing the methodology that we were also developing and challenging each time. And one of the most nicest aspects of the courses, I think, were the case studies. We asked the students to propose case studies that they were working at as professionals or something related to their own experience. And when I was asked to choose a case study, I immediately know I wanted to bring this one that I will show you. Because for us, Feng Shui is really about relationship. And I think that this project not only practically talks about relationships, but also from a symbolic point of view, is the representation of how Feng Shui can help to create spaces that allow to integrate differences inside the houses, inside the working environments, everywhere. So for Feng Shui, it's so important that we live with differences, that we are able to always adapt and create new differentiations. But by doing this, it's important to have spaces that support this process. And this project is exactly about this. It is a duplex for a multicultural and multi-generational family in Campbell, California, USA. And it was proposed by one of our most beloved practitioners, which is also a golden member of this school. And so here we are. First of all, what is a duplex? A duplex is a home made of two distinct and interconnected units. So you see here Unit 1 and Unit 2, and they are inside the same property. The two units have separate entries, as you can see on these two sides, and they share a courtyard, in this case, a northern courtyard, and also they have a small passage in the center that connects the two houses, the two units. And here we see a very, very special, beautiful family. It is a multicultural nucleus, also multi-generational. The mother is French, the father is Indian, and the three daughters are American. In addition, the Indian grandmother also lives with these family members, and she is settled in the second unit, while the rest of the family is in this Unit 1, which is slightly bigger. And also, this connect us to what Gina was saying. The eldest daughter has an autism problem. So there is also, while the other two daughters are very knit twins. So it's really a very special family where you understand how crucial is the position of the father, who actually is the only man of the family, which is significant, but also is engaged into the family in a triple relationship of being a father, husband, and son. So the project, the site is in Campbell, which is a city in Santa Clara County, California. The area is in the Silicon Valley in the San Francisco Bay Area. The dwelling is located in a flat residential area, which is fairly homogeneous and consists primarily of single-family homes. Service and facilities are available nearby. This is an aerial view looking from south to north. One special feature of this house, it is on the corner block. And we know that the property on the street corner has greater potential than a central one because it has more access opportunity from the street and therefore has greater flexibility in the use. The house, as you see, is oriented according to the cardinal directions. And in fact, we see here the entries. The Unit 1 has got both entry door and garage door on the south side, while Unit 2 has got entry and garage door on the east side. Here we see some picture approaching the property, here moving from west to east. It's interesting to see how the boundary of the property is structured, or better, not structured, because you see that the vegetation is recede on the facing, and actually there is not a real efficacious containment along the property. So here we see the facing with entry door of Unit 1, and garage door, always of unit 1. We go along the corner, and so we turn around the property to reach here, the second unit, which has its own entry here, and with the garage entry at that point. And here we see the original organization of the 2 dwellings. Unit 1 is clearly defined by the red line, is where the 5 occupants, the family with the 3 daughters live, while Unit 2 is the yellow one, where the Indian grandmother lives, but also the father's home office is located. Interesting to see that the 2 units are connected by this blue connection space, which actually puts in connection Unit 1 to Unit 2, and also put in connection this, let's say, this transition space to the courtyard. The courtyard is actually connected to the transition space and also directly to the kitchen of Unit 2. We can appreciate already a little bit how is the organization. We will see some pictures. So we will enter first in Unit 1. We will look at the living and the passage to the dining and kitchen, and also we will take a look to this long corridor and to this huge garage. And then we will move to Unit 2. We will enter and mainly focus, we will look at the living, mainly look at the kitchen, which is the one which is directly connected to the outside and to the connection space. So this is the living of Unit 1. And here on this side, you see the door leading to the dining room, which has a good potential to connect to the outdoor space, which is not big, but actually can be used. And on the other side, we see the filter to the kitchen. Here we see the long corridor at the entry. And on the other side, the garage, which actually, even if it's very big, it's used as a deposit. And here we take a look to this connection space, as you see, connecting directly to the courtyard. This is the courtyard, which is facing north. So actually, it's not that sunny. And now we pass to Unit 2. We have here the main entry. We see that the main entry has got a wheelchair ramp in the outside, together in the occupying, let's say, this outside area. This is actually let's say, the larger, the wider area on the outside that has potential to be used. Look how they tend to recede the vegetation along the facing and less along the boundary. This is interesting because they do not really annex this space. You see, this is one of the topics that we will look at. The same we see here. And here, entering Unit 2, we see the living room and the Indian grandmother's kitchen. So let's go on. Now we will treat aspects related to the human chi. So most of all, we are trying to deeply understand what are the needs of the family. So, and the mother who asked for the Feng Shui consultation tells us that the building was built in 1964, so P6. The family settled there in 2010. When they bought the property, they made some internal renovation, but at that time, in 2021, the family was asking for a Feng Shui consultation to undertake another renovation. And they asked for a core where they can meet. So for the most important request is about to have a space where all these family members can meet and have family lives. So the family loves most the good sun exposure of the property, the amount of internal space, the division into 2 units, and the ease of access to both. What they do not like is the lack of fluidity between spaces, the bad use of the large garage, which is wasted as storage space, the insufficient connection with the external spaces, and the lack as we were saying, of a larger space where family can gather. And this is very important. It's something that we always do when we have a case study. We make a detailed list of all the objectives of the Feng Shui consultation. It's a way to have a very clear relationship to the client, and also for us to always maintain an adherence, a connection to the reference which is given, in order to stay on the points in this case. I will read them because it's important to understand what are the objectives that we are going for. So, remove the 2 fireplaces because they are not used by the family. Modify and make the garage space more useful and practical, since family is lacking living space for larger group gatherings. Improve the overall flow, and with modest construction changes, create space that has better flow and functionality for family and their in-laws. Plan possible space or room for future assisting living or nanny helper, or create a guest room space. Since the family doesn't have much backyard space, to use the front yard, and especially the east and south side. Create transition that both sides, family and mother-in-law, can gather. Mother-in-law loves to cook in the kitchen all the time, also likes to rearrange the in-laws side for the better flow, and also enhance this nice potential. Family is open to suggestion that could be short and long term. They plan to stay in the house for the next 10-15 years. Maximize the value and merge the house in such a way that in case they want to sell it, or only one part of it in the future, that they gain value. Make modification of the garage, since they do not use it for car parking, and move washer and dryer closer to master bedroom. So you see, there are different kind of objectives. For sure, the most important one, and the one which is guiding our approach, is that they are asking us to create a heart for a multi-generational living by linking up the 2 dwellings. So our question is, how can we create a vibrant space where the family members can meet and can cultivate the relationship harmoniously? How can we create this beautiful space that connects the 2 units by maintaining the identity, but creating a new space where the family can gather? And for us, for sure, as architects, it's also about giving a very good quality to this space. So our contribution to the project, for us, it's fundamental to define that from a methodological point of view. We work with the Sunshine methodology for Feng Shui analysis and audit. And this is one of the strongest heritage that we have from Master Howard Choi. It means that always when we look at a situation, we analyze it on 3 different levels. So we look at the earth chi, at the human chi, and the heaven chi. In this specific case, talking about earth chi, we will use a tool which is the chi flow study to look at the internal circulation, identify the best area to join up the 2 dwellings and to improve the chi flow in both units. Regarding the human chi, we will use the tool of the yin-yang organizational study. So we will identify the public and private areas, distinguishing them into the dwelling, and by looking at this and also understand what is the most optimal area to link up. And then we will look to the heaven chi. In this case, we will look to a Venn diagram to compare the result raised from the earth and the human chi with this abstract tool that actually shows us where this in-between space would be obviously located. So with this outcome, so having earth chi, human chi, and heaven chi, and comparing them, we will have an outcome. With this outcome, then we will check with the compass school calculation to ensure that the tangible and the intangible, the form and the formless, can have a connection. So the two schools of Feng Shui can lead us to a holistic outcome. And always from a methodological point of view, for us, it's very important to have in mind the concept of Wu Wei and of Beng Qing. So Wu Wei is best translated as effortless action. By knowing the practical reality of a situation, and in this case, the Beng Qing, which is the original character of the dwelling, we can define and understand what can we really change and what we cannot change. And this helps us to identify the unexpressed potential of the dwelling. So when we look at the material aspect of the dwelling, we also look at the immaterial. When we look at the manifest, we also look at the not manifest. So not only about what is visible, but also this potential, which is an opportunity that we can, it's not visible to anyone, to everybody, but it's so important to see. So in this way, we can make efficacious modification with the minimal of efforts. This means that we can lead to a practical and economical, effective way to realize the potential of a dwelling at the service of its inhabitants. So the best way to work with Qi is to both work with matter and its potential to become, and by this to achieve efficacy. So let's go in our contribution that I just now presented. So Earth Qi analysis. Here we have the analysis of the Qi flow. We immediately see that the area that are most involved in this transformation are the one in the center. So we have a potential of the garage that we can make a better use of it. We see that the space together is very small. So we have to work on this. The courtyard is not so much used. So actually all this band in the center between the two buildings is full of potential that can be developed. Also, looking at the distinct units, we see some contradictions and aspects that can be for sure improved. For instance, if we look to Unit 1, we see this long, narrow corridor as a distribution space, which is quite closed and not really communicating. The same we can say of the living and the kitchen. Also, there is the potential to make better use of the external spaces. We look to the wash machine that are all for both units in this area, which means that to use them, Unit 1 has to pass through the grandmother's kitchen, which is not very functional. And also interesting, we see that the father's office is in a position that let's say that in order to reach it from Unit 1, he also has to pass from the kitchen. So actually the Qi flow that connects to it is not ideal at all. We know that the kitchen is a very important space for the grandmother because she loves to cook. And so according to this, in looking to the Qi flow, we register many information about the way that we can, let's say, make it more fluid. Then let's go to the yin and yang organizational study. We simply make the distinction between the night areas, which are the blue one, and the day areas, which are the red one. For sure, this communal space, this heart space of the house, should be also an element which is able to connect the yang areas of the two houses. And it is very interesting because they are somehow reversed. So you see they connect on this diagonal, and exactly on this diagonal we already have two connections. So actually accepting and looking at the Beijing of the house, we already get information what is the best way to connect the daily area with this cross connection between the yang areas that, let's say, suggest us also to create as a larger space by getting some space from the garage which is not used. And here we look also at the potential of improved chi flow, connecting the yang area, so making the yang areas more fluid, and to connect directly with this new resource, this new bigger space that will be both accessible from Unit 1 and Unit 2. But it will happen in a let's say, distinct way. And we look at the heaven chi with the Venn diagram, which actually is simply the idea of looking what is the obvious place where the meeting between the two happens. And for sure, it is in the middle, as also the earth chi and the human chi is confirming. And here comes a very deep point for me, because it's always about the connection between yin and yang, and this third element that comes to birth. So when two separate entities connect by sharing a space of integration, a third being is born, a space that has a plus value and that allows both distinct units to live a new life. So this space of integration becomes the heart of the house. And it includes the courtyard. So it means not only it connects the two units, not only it connects the generation, but also it is the gate to the outdoor space. And here you see the project starting from the core, the new core of the house that can get the light from above. In this way, the heaven chi and the earth chi would be connected, and also has direct access to the courtyard. Then we also see that we made the connection between the yang areas of Unit 1 much more fluid, so that this new heart of the house is directly connected to Unit 1, but also has a door connected directly to Unit 2 and to the grandmother's kitchen. We see that we reversed the father office with the grandma bedroom, and this gives us the opportunity to use another band of the garage to connect directly the Unit 1 to the father's garage. And we turned the second garage of Unit 2 into a hotel-like apartment for an assisted living or worker to live in. We relocated the laundry in the courtyard, which now is a place which is also useful for the people. And we relocated the eldest daughter's bed according to her Minghua in order to improve her health potential. Here you see the landscaping plan also, where the idea is to be able to gather the chi along the property. And we check at the end with the heaven chi analysis. What we do is looking at the natal chart of the two units, we look at what happens in the intersection of the two charts where the heart of the house is located. And here we have sector east from Unit 1 and sector west from Unit 2. And it's really nice because comparing the two water stars and the two mountain stars of the two sectors, we see that we have 4 and 6 as mountain stars, which represent the first daughter and the father. And we have as water stars the 8 and the 2, which is the third son and the mother. So somehow the flying stars are telling us what is the point of the whole project, and how this new heart, this new communal space will be able to improve these relationships for health and also for the wealth of the family. So, in conclusion, we have reduced the size of the garage and used the extra space to create a heart for the 3 generational livings together, yet remain distinct as 2 dwellings for the son with his family in one house and his mother next door. This space in between receives light from above to represent a place where heaven meets earth. By doing this, we transform the transition space between the two dwellings in a communal meeting place, a heart of the whole family and for the mother-in-law. This is the core that will bond everyone together and a meeting place with an outdoor connection. So the internal space can link up with the external courtyard at the same time. As a result of this additional linking space, we have created a better chi flow for the duplex. So now the grandmother's cooking can be enjoyed by everyone in the heart space of the house. So, and this is the final plan. You see that in the heart of the house, we suggested to have a bigger table where they can meet to eat together, but that can also use to study. It was COVID time, as Gina was saying, and at that time it was so important to create new spaces. But I think today it's still so important where people can spend time by doing activities and feel gathered and feel together in the heart of the family. So thank you very much.
Daniela, well done. That was brilliant, and showed so many examples of how a home has many different needs. You know, all those generations. Interesting, the different cultures. It's fascinating, interesting idea to have two homes attached. That's very American. It was fantastic. We're going to move on to another presentation, but we have a section later where we can perhaps ask questions. So that's
thank you.
Yes,
thank
so we'll invite
much.
you back for people to do that. But we're going to move on to the next presentation now. So thank you so much. That was really great, really great. So our next presentation is Master Edgar Lok Tin Yung. He's a Feng Shui and Chinese astrology consultant. He's based in Melbourne, Australia, and he's combining a traditional lineage of Feng Shui with the study of Chinese astrology, and says he's the 39th generation holder of San Yuan Yuan Gua lineage. Now, unusual presentation today. He's going to talk about Yellow Spring Sha, which is a harmful form of energy in Feng Shui. And as much as we do not like to use Feng Shui to bring fear to people, to frighten them, there are times when there is a negative energy, and if we can find that and moderate it, then that is important too. So it's a little bit unusual. He's Yellow Spring is a poetic way of saying the underworld. So he's going to talk about how some of this dangerous energy can be found and moderated. So I'm going to welcome you to our space, Master Edgar, and invite you all the way from Melbourne, because I think you're the only participant in the Southern Hemisphere, and invite you to share. So good morning, good evening to you.
Thank you very much. I hope you all can hear me. Yes, since good evening now.
Yeah, can hear you. Yeah, lovely.
Okay, good. Thank you. Good evening, everyone from Melbourne. It's 9 o'clock, almost 9 o'clock here. So maybe I cannot join all the way along, but I like to share some of my learning, my experience with you guys. Hope we can all grow together and learn together. Victoria and also Alexandra had done a little bit of interview on me, and the video is on the YouTube channel. So if you want to know a bit more about myself, you're welcome to look at the YouTube video. So let's look at the topic I'm going to talk. So I can share my side, right? So I can give you some of my history of myself here. So my name is Edgar Lok Tin Yung. I'm the 39th generation Yanggong San Yuan Yuan Gua Feng Shui holder. That means I learned from my master learned from his master learned from his master. So it's like generation passed down generation. And we all respect this great grandmaster Yang Xun Song. He is our grandfather of Feng Shui. He was born in 838 and passed away in 906 in the Tang Dynasty, late Tang Dynasty. If you know a bit of Chinese history, you know the Tang Dynasty, toward the end, there's a rebel, and there's a rebellion called the Huan Chou. Huan Chou is a person, actually, is a leader, try to, overturn the Tang Dynasty. So great grandmaster Yang Xunsong, he had to leave the, Gina was talking about the terracotta there, the Xi'an, the Xi'an area. Then he bought the Feng Shui book and leave Xi'an and moved to Jiangxi. Jiangxi is a province in between the Fujian province and the Canton, in the Canton province. So it's more southern China. So, from Song or Song Tang and then Song Dynasty onward, in this area, the Feng Shui is very, very popular there. Right now, still very, very popular Feng Shui in this area, in Jiangxi, in Fujian, in Guangdong area. Particularly area close to this Jiangxi area. I was born in southern China. Our village is about 300 kilometers from this particular area. Jiangxi, the place called Sanliao, which is great grandmaster Yang Xunsong first come to this place. And then I'll show you the map here roughly. So that's Jiangxi area, okay? In Jiangxi, that's Fujian, and that's Guangdong area. I was born around here in this area here. So it's very close to that. So in our village, in our area, everyone, talk about Feng Shui. And Feng Shui actually is not a taboo, or when the parents reach the age of 65, 70 years old, they will ask their children, say, hey, you have to find me a burial spot and find me a good Feng Shui spot. So that's why, in Southeast Asia, or in these areas, people are quite wealthy. And I just look at some information in Malaysia, actually, 9 out of 10 top richest guy or almost from this area. It's and also they're very hardworking as well. If you got good Feng Shui, you make you work very hard for sure. So great grandmaster Yang Xunsong come to this area. He taught 3 students, like 3 disciples. Many students, but 3 disciples. They have the Zhang Wen-san, Liao Zai-san, and then Liu Jiangdong. So Liu Jiangdong is our lineage master. Liu Jiangdong is our lineage master, and he followed great grandmaster Yang Xunsong for his latest 6 years until he passed away. So he get all the technique from great master Yang Xunsong, and from the Liu Jiangdong lineage, we are allowed, or Liu Jiangdong allowed to teach different surname. In the old time, the traditional lineage is very strict. The Liao family and the Zhang family, strictly speaking, they only allow to pass to their own family, their own children, grandchildren, and pass on. But the Liu Jiangdong family, Liu Jiangdong lineage, he is allowed to pass out. So from then, he spread 2 different lineage out. One is the Liu Jiangdong, his son, grandson, and then his own lineage. One is from his son-in-law. So his son-in-law also teach. So there's 2 branches spread out. To make it short, from Liu Jiangdong, the Liu family, and then the Liu son's lineage. My master's master his name is Liu Guosen. So if some of you know a little bit of Chinese history during the Cultural Revolution, Feng Shui, Chinese astrology, they're all banned. They're not allowed to practice in China. And Grandmaster Liu Guosen, he's a Feng Shui fanatic. He read a lot of books, and then he was caught. Say they promote superstitious and things. So he was actually sent to Jiangxi, this area called Sanliao, for re-education. And in Sanliao, everyone say, "Oh, I know Feng Shui, so we teach him this, teach him that." Eventually, he met out the 36th generation grandson of Liu Jiangdong. And Liu Jiangdong, the 36th grandson, showed him the handwritten Feng Shui technique. And then he tested out and find out, wow, that is really, really good. This is a really general Feng Shui he never see in published in the book. And also when we learn the technique, we are not allowed to publish a book to write out the the core technique there. So that's why in the Feng Shui world there's so many different schools, different Feng Shui schools there. So this is Liu Guosen. This is my master. This is me, and this is become like disciple ceremony to be. That was back in 2019. I became a disciple in 2019. So and now because I've been learning from his technique, so he's actually allowed me to teach a disciple class. So I teach the advanced class and also a disciple class. So that's how I come to to this stage right now. Okay, so let me show you the. I can close this and let me show you more. Okay. So yellow spring shot. Yellow spring shot is, in Chinese culture, yellow spring is when they dig the ground and dig, and the water come out. Water come out, they will make the soil muddy and yellowish. So it's called a yellow spring. And in short, yellow spring is when we all die, we go to yellow spring. So that's related to health issues. So if in Feng Shui, there's such configuration that will affecting our health a lot. So there are formulas. There are formulas in if we look at this is the so-called killing people yellow spring shot method formula. So this the poetry. So Ding is the in fire and young metal, yin fire and young metal facing. If there's a Kun sector water sector water coming in to the house, or Kun water sector water can be a toilet, can be open a door there, or can be a stove. Then it will.
Mr. Edgar, can I just interrupt? I just want to interrupt for a second and ask you, because we're still looking at the other presentation. Have you brought a new presentation up? Because that one we can't see.
Oh, okay. So
yeah. So if you want to, you've got that presentation about your history, and we're still looking at. If you want to take that off, and then if you have a new one, bring that up. That would be great.
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay. No.
So can you see it now?
We can see it now. We're looking at your copy, Killing People Yellow Spring Method Formula. That's what we're looking at.
Yes.
Lovely.
Okay. Right.
Thank you. Sorry to interrupt.
No, it's okay. So because I am not so familiar with the Zoom operation. So I'm not sure how you guys do you need to study a little bit Chinese symbol, or you use the in fire or yang metal. So the first sentence here is the ding. The ding is the in fire, and the geng is yang metal, and then the kun is one of the gua, or can be one of the 24 mountain sector. So if facing ding or facing geng, the kun water coming in, like kun water, like there's a river water coming in from the kun sector, or if you open a kun door, or you have in this kun sector, we have a stove, or you have a toilet, or you even have a washing machine there, that will cause this formula to do some harm to the occupant. And it's also can be reversed, like if it's a kun facing house or kun facing house, then the ding water coming in, or if in the ding sector, the in fire sector, we have a stove, we have a toilet, then that will cause this yellow spring shark formula. Then the second one is the Xun, the Xun, Xun, if the Xun facing, then we have to be aware of the inward, and then the yang fire sector. Incoming water, meaning if you open a door, like when we open a door, the qi come in, and as you all know, the qi is the mother of water. That's from the book of burial. The qi is the mother of water. So when you open a door, there's qi coming in, there's water coming in. And if we have a house facing Xun, and then the yi water or bing water coming in, then it will cause this yellow spring shark. It works vice versa. If there's a yi facing or bing facing, then we have the Xun water coming in. It also called a yellow spring shark. Then another yang wood and in water, yang wood and in water, yang wood in water. And we don't want to see the gun in yang wood in water. Then we have to be very careful of the gun. That's the east facing, and then the north and this west, we have the in metal xing, and the yan water ren. So if the in metal xing or yan water ren direction, then we have to be very careful about the qian coming in. If it's a qian facing, then we have to be very careful about the xing in metal or yang water coming in. Sometimes it can have both. Sometimes we can have both. So this yellow spring shark is a very important formula. So learning this formula, we can identify to reduce a lot of problem for the client. In a good 24 mountain law plan, in the 24 mountain law plan, they will actually marking this yellow spring shark in the law plan there. So according to this formula, we have to look at the qian, the kun, the qian and kun, the gun and the xun. So this 4 area, it will be related to yellow spring shark. So this is a simplified version. On the compass, I show you on the compass how they mark. But generally, if on your hand you have a good law plan, like a San Yuan law plan or San He law plan, they will show this formula for sure. So you see the Xun here, we have the Xun and the Yi and the Bing. So it reminds us, if there's a Xun facing, then Yi and Bing has to be very careful. If it's a Bing facing here, then the Xun water, we have to be very careful on that. If it's a Yi facing, then Xun water here. So Yi and Bing, we have to be aware of the Xun water. Xun facing, we have to aware of Bing and Yi water. That's the formula, what the formula say. And then here the kun, right? The kun, we have to be aware of the ding and the gun. If it's a gun, yang metal facing, we have to be aware of the kun, right? The kun. And if it's a ding facing, we have to be aware of the kun again. So we said ding and gun, we have to aware of the kun. And if it's a kun, we have to aware of ding and gun. Okay. That's in these 4, intercardinal directions. The gun here, we have to look at the jia and the gui. Okay, so when it's a gui, we have to look at the gun. When it's jia facing here, we have to look at the gun gua, gun water. In the qian area, northwest, in the northwest, the qian area, like qian facing, we have to be aware of the xing in metal or yang water. And if it's in metal facing, we have to be aware of the qian, and it's a Ren, yang water facing, we have to aware of the qian. So basically, this is the formula in the 4 intercardinal directions. You have to be very, very careful on this. I will show you some example later. So this is in a law pan, in a law pan, if you see here, this is the rain, yang water, and it remind us we have to look at the qian, okay? And then the qian, we have look at the yang water and in metal, the xin and the ren. And the xin facing, we have to be aware of the qian coming in. So basically, this is what the formula telling us. When we set up a facing for a client, or when we go to a client for already established house, if we see such a configuration, then it has to be very careful. Like this actually, this morning, I went to a house and see this house, it exactly facing red. And then their stove is in qian. The stove is qian. There's a saying in the Feng Shui is called fire burn the heaven gates. Maybe some of you know this technique. This is the real one. The fire burn the heaven gate. And what really happened is they have a son very rebel. The father not listen to the father at all, and it's become very like a boss in the house. And he's only 12 years old. So the parent don't know what to do and call me in. Then I identify this is the problem. This is a yellow spring shot. And this is also the fire burn the heaven gate. That's the real configuration of the fire burn the heaven gate. And then let me look at another one. Here, it's the same here. Okay. So if let's say the door here facing ren, and we have a qian door, open the door in qian here, this configuration is already a yellow spring shot. And inside, if there's a stove somewhere there or toilet there, it's also considered a yellow spring shot. So yellow spring shot, we say, is related to health, health problem, and then depends on the stem and the branch on which one's birth year. Let's say, go back here. Someone born in the year of the yang water, then they will get affect the most. So in the Sanyuan Yuan system, we don't look at the Minggua, we look at the personal stem and branch. If the stem and branch align with the energy of the house, you straight away get it. You don't need to convert into a Minggua or East Gua, West Gua. As long as your birth year in there align with the energy, you get it straight away. So it's very, very easy to look at, very simple to look at the configuration. So there's a tricky part, the tricky part is I actually write down all the degrees here. So in the ren, see here, so it's actually from half of this ren and half of the height, which is the peak. So if any of the facing direction fall into this degree, like 330 to 345, which is a 15 degree. So half mountain either way. Then we have this qian water coming in here. Then it will matching this configuration, yellow spring shot. So this morning's case is actually the house is facing 339 degree, which is here. Exactly here. So it's in the ren sector, and there's a qian stove. So it matching this yellow spring shot. Yellow spring shot is related to health. And I asked the father, since you move in, do you have any respiratory system issue? And he said yes, because qian that's Chen. Chen is metal. Chen is metal. Chen is the lung. So, of course, we straight away know it's an issue related to the lung. And then the stove there is called the fire burning the heaven gate, which is the youngest will offense the elder or the head of the house, which is the father. So they're very worried about this. So I suggest them to move the stove, to change the stove to a position which is better for them. And they are going to do it because they know it has problem. Because why they know is when they actually just spend about a couple of months with the kids in Shanghai. And when the kids in Shanghai, it's okay, it's no problem. But after moving back into this house, it happened again. So it is the house caused the behavior of this kid. The other thing is they put the kid at the back of the house, put the back of the house. And the parent will stay in the front of the house. So that is in the wrong order. In general, we want the parent at the back of the house and the kids in the front. So you imagine for a company, a boss or a manager, they all sit at the back, they not sit in the front. If you imagine there's a general go to war, the general will at the back, directing, how to position the war to fight the war. But in this case, they put the son at the bedroom, the son at the back of the house, and they are in the front. So the son is actually controlling them, right? So two things wrong there. I told them because they have quite a good configuration in the well configuration. I say well has no problem. They admit say that yes, well is okay. Well has no problem. Only problem is the sun. So I say just do this thing, rectify the stove, and then move the sun to the front part of the house. Okay, so that's exactly matching this configuration. Then from 285 to 300, which is, you see, half of the scene here, half of the scene, and half 7.5 degrees in the Shu. If the direction facing in this direction, then the Chen water or Chen activation, then it's also called yellow spring shine. In the Gen here, Gen from and the Sing monkey, so 240 to 255, that is another 15 degree. So any facing direction fall on this, either of this degree, 15 of them. Then if there's a Kun water, Kun activation, Kun stove, Kun toilet, Kun aircon, Kun washing machine, Kun fridge, they will cause a yellow spring shine. Of course, it will depend on this activation. If there's a very tiny activation, you have a aircon there, but you hardly turn it on, then it's very little effect. But if it's a door or a toilet, you flush all the time, you're using the door all the time, then this condition, this activation, the energy will be much stronger. So they will cause a yellow spring shine. Then if from 195 to 210, half of the yin fire ding and the goats, the weight, any degree, any facing degree on this one, then the kun incoming water, kun activation is also called the yellow spring shine. And by the way, in this configuration here, also in the San Yuan Yuan Gua, we had another name for it, but this we'll leave it for another day. I'm not going to confuse you, but okay. And then if we look at from here, the Bing, half of the Bing and half of the Si, 150 degree to 165, within this 15 degree, any facing, then the Xun coming, Xun water, Xun opening, that is called a yellow spring shine. From the Yi from 105 to 120, this 15 degree here, facing any of this degree. If there's a Xun door open, then it will be a yellow spring shot as well. So all this yellow spring shot is on the cardinal direction, 4 cardinal direction. Okay, so let me show you this. Let's see. Make it a bit smaller. So this house is one of my students' house, Jennifer. So Jennifer's mom born in 1941. Jennifer's mom's born in 1941. Jennifer actually is very a good friend to Howard Choi as well. Back in 2019, I believe 2019, I had my course in Sydney. I run my advanced course, SYYG, San Yuan Yuan Gua course in Sydney. And Jennifer's father was from Hong Kong. And he knew that I'm from Hong Kong as well. And he's asked Jennifer to invite me to their house for dinner. I brought my compass with me. I know there's no such thing as a free lunch. So I brought my compass with me there. And when I reached the house, they will ask me, Edgar, how's my house feng shui? Then I pull out my compass. I measure the direction. The direction is 155 degrees. We measure it out, 155. So 155, if we go back to here, 155 here is in the Si and Bing, see? In the Si and Bing. And the Si and Bing, we have to be aware of the Xun water, right? Okay. So they have the entrance here, which is exactly in the Xun. Exactly in the Xun. So this configuration we call a yellow spring shot. So the Xun here actually is not a branch and not a stem. But if you know about feng shui, you should know what is called a na jia or replacement stem for the gua. So the Xun actually is replaced with the Xin, with the in metal. Replaced with the in metal. Her mother is born in 41, in metal. So actually her mother is here with the yellow spring shot. And Xin, you know, Xin is in metal. In metal is like jewelry, jewelries and like small metal. In metal, also the hip. After I measure, I draw this plan out and ask Jennifer, hey, Jennifer, how's your mother's hip? I say, how's your mother's hip? Jennifer is more excited than me and say, you ask my mom. And she told her mom, come. And then say, Edgar, ask her again. Then I asked, Auntie, how's your hip? And she said, I had it replaced a few months ago, have the hip replacement. So that is the effect of yellow spring shot. There, of course, here, the ren, see there's a ren here, because you facing the sitting will be high, right? And this a ren. And if we look at the ren and the high here, the ren, see the ren and the high. Ren and the high. The chen is the yellow spring shot. So at the back of the house here, in this is the chen sector. So that's the high and the ren door there. So they have a alphen here. That's the alphen. So alphen chen is the father, right? Chen is the lung. So the father has a lung problem in this house. So with the yellow spring shot, we can identify what kind of illness, what kind of problem this person may have, and also the chen, also the head. So sometimes it can be the head, sometimes it can be the lung. If you look at this is template. This is my template. So I will, I draw up all different organ here, like the ding is the heart. We all know ding is the heart, ding is the eyes, right? The E, the kun here, kun is, we all know, is the tummy, so the digestive system. The gung is the large intestine. The xin is the lung as well. The xin is the lung. The chen is the head. And the ren is the the reproductive system. Like for men will be more prostate. For lady will be the reproductive area. The gray water is the kidney. The gun is the nose, right? The jia is the gallbladder, and the yi is the liver. So every organ is actually printed on the 24 mountain there. So when we identify which area is wrong, we know what to fix and how to fix it to help the client getting their health back. So it's very, very, very interesting here. So I suggest them how to change is like they can put a partition here, so to block the chi from this door, because from the center we can see the door, so if we put a partition, then you will reduce the impact. But the best way is you can close this door here, and then open a new door here, and that will become very, very good feng shui for them. And interestingly, when I'm standing here in the doorway, and measure it out, this edge, this angle is also in the xun, in xin, so it has a double impact on there. So in the San Yuan Yuan Gua Feng Shui, we not just measure from the center of the house, we will measure from the door as well. Measure from the door, any door, like this door, or if they have a side door, we also need to measure the side door for the energy, see what kind of energy coming into the house. Then if there's a good, we'll invite more. If it's a bad energy, we'll just try to suppress it. Okay. So I show you another example. This is very easy. You guys can go and check. See, this is in Switzerland, in Geneva. I was there in 2018, and then I look at this case here in Geneva. If you go to the UN headquarters in Geneva, there's two sides. They have a lot of different country of flat there, and there's a door, a gate there. Measure from the gate, the facing direction is 201 degrees. So if we look at 201 degrees, coming back here, 201, which is in here, in between the thing, the in fire, and the goat here, 205. And there's a kun road. There's a road coming straight from the kun sector, which is, you can see here, you're standing there, you will see the kun road coming in here, kun road. So in this configuration, it also calls a yellow spring sharp. So because there's a road, it's very busy, very, very busy. So the energy is very, very strong. We look at what year will happen. Generally, we look at the stem and branch, right? Or the triple harmony combination year, then things will definitely going to happen. Then let me show you a few examples. So in the Ding year or the Gui, so Ding and Gui, they clash on the other side. The Wei can be Hai Mao Wei, the triple harmony, Hai Mao Wei. And then the Ox year also can happen. So there's the classical text from our great grandmaster Yang Xunsheng. He said, the Chinese way says, you look at the Tai Shui and then see from in which sector, when the triple harmony combination year, then it's gonna happen. So we can look at the history of the site of a house, and shop or in building. So in 61 is the in metal ox, right? So in metal ox, one is in the front, one is the clash year. So in the in metal ox, there's a plank clash. No, There were 16 people died. And one of them was the Secretary General of the UN. I don't know how to pronounce this name, but the cause of clash still not explained until today. You can go online and check and find out. Then let's look at a more closer year. 2003, Great in water goat. Great Ding and Great, the clash, and the Great year, goat year. In the Canal Hotel bombing in Baghdad, 22 UN personnel were killed. In Ding Hai, Hai Mao Wei, Ding in water in fire year, and the pig year, 2007 in Algeria. There are 17 United Nations workers were killed there. In January 2010, which is 2009, right? Because January is not yet start of the spring, not yet the start of the spring. So not start of the spring. So it still counts as a year of the ox. Year of the ox, it clashed with the wave. So there were the Haiti earthquake, and the UN team, they go to help out. They have a landslide and they were buried there, 102 people. Later one, in the Xin in metal Mao year. Mao is the rabbit. Okay, so Hai Mao Wei, Hai, which is the pig, rabbit, and goat, triple combination. In that year, also a plane crash in Congo. 20 out of 33 UN staff had problems, died there. 2009, year of the pig again. So year of the pig, Hai Mao Wei in March, Hai Mao Wei. UN, 21 staff were, and along 157 died in a plane crash in Ethiopia. So you see all these years, either the pig, the rabbit, the goat, the ox, the ding, and the gui, and the yi, and the xing. So yi, xing, ding, gui, and hai mao wei. So it actually matching back to the configuration. So for the rest, you can go and check yourself. Feng Shui, if you draw it out with a plan, is not lying. You can find the trace back to see what's happening. So the Feng Shui, we have the yin. Of course, we always say yin and yang. It's not all the yellow spring shot are bad. There's a good yellow spring shot that's called the saving the poor yellow spring shot and speed up the career yellow spring shot technique. It depends how you use it. If you use it correctly, you help someone. If you use it incorrectly, you are kind of ruin someone or killing someone or bring them some sickness. So in the lineage, we would discuss about what is a real yellow spring shot and what is saving the poor yellow spring shot. And also there's many other configuration. Maybe I'm not sure. Maybe some of you heard of like the Basa. The Basa is like bullying, or people get bullied. They have definitely have a Basa configuration in their house, or a real Basa. People come to bullying, or so-called. We had another configuration is called the 5 thunders killing. 500 killing. I have a student in Queensland, live in Queensland. Her house actually has such a configuration, and the 500 killing generally is related to accident.
Sorry,
Sorry?
Master Young, just wanted to interrupt. It's Victoria here. I'm just conscious of timing. It's 11:34 now, and I just want to make sure we can get your Q&As in if possible. Otherwise not, but just reminding you of the time. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. It will be very, very, very quick. So there's a configuration called 500 killing, and as I mentioned, one of my students, her house had this configuration, and 500 killing generally related to fire, water, or traffic accident, or thunder, called thunder. So well, her father was actually struck by lightning twice and eventually killed by electrical shock. So the Feng Shui is actually, we can see a lot. It's really, really powerful. So thank you so much. I am happy to answer some of your questions here. So thank you. That's my presentation. Maybe it was go too fast, but if I know there's a recording, you can go back to the recording and also maybe some of my pronunciation is not that right as well. A little bit. I apologize for that, but that is my presentation. Thank you.
Master Edgar, lovely. If you want to just take your presentation down, and then we can see you. And I think because you're late night, we'll take questions now. We've got some question time set aside. So we'll take any questions or comments that people might have for this deep dive into the yellow stream, and see whether anybody wants to share anything or ask anything. I will do that now. So I'm just going to look at the chat and see if anybody has a question. Wonderful. Thank you. Very interesting. Yeah. It is powerful, isn't it? You're moving that. It's interesting, this dynamic that you shared about the leader of the house isn't always the leader of the house. And that the 12-year-old son was the leader of the house. And then you made the adjustment to do that. That's interesting because parents, we have to make sure the parents lead rather than the children. And you found a solution to that. That was interesting. Okay. Sorry. So Suzanne's asking, does it always involve moving a door if you find your yellow spring sharp? Does it involve moving a door? Does it always involve moving a door?
Well, if you want to fix it forever, yes. If or you can do, put a partition. But partition is just not 100%. In my opinion, it's not 100%. If we move the door, but I know some apartment is very difficult. Apartment or houses in the UK. I've seen lately I've been to London and I see some houses which is not easy. So you can kind of do some partition. And if it's a stove, then we move away the stove or use a portable stove. We don't use a stove. Yeah.
Yes, and certainly in modern homes that are tight, smaller city apartments, tight houses where everything is set, it can be difficult.
That's why we have so many problems nowadays.
It's interesting, isn't it? Yeah, making those adjustments and moving things around. Certainly in a larger home, you have more scope. I'm just going to say, so Artie Chin's asking, how can this method be used to help a person about their health? He's saying, I was diagnosed with a blood cancer in 2017. Could this method help prevent a health crisis? He's asking.
Yes, definitely. So the yellow spring chart is just one of the area we identify health issue. But if, let's say, if we have the Qian sector, right? The Qian Gua. Qian is the head, right? And then if they have like in the south, in the Li Gua, Qian and Li, they're actually early heaven, later heaven relationship. They are two connected area. So if they are such area, they are bad, and then past another Gua area is in the Zhen Gua. So the Zhen Gua and the Li Gua and the Qian Gua. So actually in the lawsuit number is 369. And if all these three Gua has problem, definitely will be a health problem, a very serious health problem, maybe cancer. So if you do a Feng Shui, we find out if such area has problem, then definitely we can help them to rectify. Or if they build a house, we make sure they don't have this configuration to start with. Then make sure everyone will live in the house will be happy and healthy.
I'm going to ask you another question from Adela. She said, you mentioned that closely following how the layout affects the health of the people living in the house. How does this relate to guests? Does the dynamic shift? Is it something you also work with to make sure guests' energy does not change the dynamic of the energy flow? And I don't know whether she means a guest for dinner or a guest coming to stay for a while. But
Feng Shui meaning the guest, meaning the annual chi, the annual energy.
say that again.
Maybe the annual flying star.
Their energy.
Maybe it's she meaning the annual gas energy, the flying star chi coming in. So actually, the SYYG Sanyuan, we are more focused on the NATO layer. If the NATO layer is very strong, right, like our health is very strong, you know, a little bit of cold, it doesn't kill us, but our health is very weak. Like the house NATO is very bad. The NATO Feng Shui is bad, and then any gas, any, you know, 5 yellow or Sansa or you know, Tai Shui coming in, that will affect our health a lot, for sure.
Got it. Christian's asking, if we use cures, then how do we learn or take responsibility for our karmic process? Asked Christian.
Right.
You understand what he means there?
Should I explain more?
Christian, okay.
Yes.
Ask the question.
Fantastic. What you've shared, I really honor that lineage. But it seems that you're talking using the Feng Shui system that we would prevent accidents and deaths, but that is part of life and part of our karmic learning process. And even with Ron Chin, his cancer situation, I know Ron, you know, for many years, it's taught him something, the process. If we'd used Feng Shui to make sure he didn't get the cancer, or we didn't have accidents or buildings being blown up, what is the true long-term karmic life learning, and about our taking responsibility for our actions?
Wow, this is a very philosophical question.
That's me. That's what I do. Yeah.
So you mean as a person, right? As I believe every person want to live a better life, want to have a good life, have a lucky life. They don't want to go through any sickness, any illness. That's why the Feng Shui come in.
Sure.
And if you're talking about like personally, like we interfere with someone's cosmetic karma, I believe we are interfere in a good way. We're not in a bad way. So if like, let's say, but however, if I will not initiate any Feng Shui cure or any Feng Shui issue when I visit a friend, only they ask me, then I would say, okay. If they don't ask me, I don't comment, then that's okay. But when they ask me, that means they want to change or they feeling have something wrong, then we can help them. And if according to the Buddhist teaching, if we do something good, we accumulate some good karma. We are not doing the bad karma here. That's not what I believe.
If I ignore a certain action that I'm about to take and I use Feng Shui at whatever level to make sure that event doesn't happen, then I'm interfering with a karmic process, a timeline.
Right. Then this is he assume we are on predestinate. The destination cannot be changed. We are not predestinate.
I agree. Yeah, no, we can change anything. Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's why Feng Shui help us to change. If Feng Shui cannot change, then why we practice Feng Shui for? That you have to always ask this question.
That karma is drawing in a solution to a problem, and we're at a choice point. We're at a choice point of change. We've called in from inner knowing check and see if I've got something coming up, and then
And I
we
think
have a
really
choice.
the point is that we need to get to that point of taking responsibility for our actions, whether we're using feng shui or not.
Yeah, yes, definitely. I agree. That totally agree. You know, totally agree. If we don't, if a person not knowing feng shui whatsoever, right, and they move into a house, then they ignore the feng shui. Maybe soon, if that house has a bad feng shui configuration, they will get some health issue or money loss. And then if they are aware, then maybe you will invite the feng shui consultant to coming in. However, I can share experience with you. Is early this year, someone invited me to look at the house here in Melbourne. They are Indian background, but they grew up in South Africa. And when I get there, he said, "We are so lucky. We have a feng shui friend helping us look at the energy every year in the last 10 odd years." And I say, "Why you call me? Why you call me in?" He say, "Oh, it seems nothing work because the wife has a very bad cancer." And I identify what's the problem for them, which is the stove was wrong, the open door was wrong, the door opened wrong, the stove was wrong, and one of the toilet also wrong. So 3 areas wrong. So definitely has a health issue. But when they call me, it's very late already. You know, it's already spread. So maybe if you can say, "Oh, that's her destiny," but it's too young. But I've seen my master's case. You know, someone with leukemia. You know, they very quickly change their house configuration, then get cure and can recover very quickly.
And that is taking action and responsibility, and that has to go together with the
Of course,
feng
yes,
shui process.
yes, definitely.
It's the
And
dance.
not to fix it, to make sure something bad doesn't happen.
No, when you have a positive energy, you have a positive thinking, you will go for it to do it. Like sometimes I tell my client, I say, when I help you do better feng shui, opportunity will come. You just can't sit at home and then someone drive past and throw you the money. No way. You just create more opportunity, but this opportunity is real. You have to grab it. You have to do it. You know, most of my clients they are enjoying this. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I say something?
Who's speaking? Yeah,
It's RD.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm the one who asked the question because when I got diagnosed in 2017 with multiple myeloma, which is a cancer, I was like, I learned all of this feng shui. Why didn't I know it was going to come to my life? And so I was really angry. I said, here, I took all the feng shui classes and whatever, but why did this disease come to me? But I have to admit, I did use feng shui in combination with my, positivity, I'm sure. But here I am, 8 years later, I am now in remission. I'm able to walk and whatever. But unfortunately, my body got affected. But still, I'm able to now feel strong teaching Qigong and doing the Feng Shui again. But my question is, could Feng Shui, I suppose my question is, could have Feng Shui prevented the fact that I got a diagnosis of multiple myeloma? So, I don't know. I'm just throwing that out as another thought.
In my opinion, feng shui can prevent, but we are also responsible. Heaven, earth, and man, there's 3 layers of luck here. So heaven, which is we cannot control, like raining, cyclone, earthquake, we cannot control all this. But the feng shui, the earth part and the human part, like the human part, we have free will. Our diet will affecting our health, our exercise. In the Chinese medicine, the yellow emperor, medical connotes, they would say If you are too worried, you get sick. Sometimes you're very scared, you get sick. You're overjoyed, you get sick, But so you have to practice, keep yourself calm with, the chi flow in the body more smooth, then you will not get sick. And of course, nowadays, I think in my opinion, the Western medicine and the Eastern medicine, Chinese medicine, is so different. The Chinese medicine, we look at the whole body, our body and our environment. But the Western medicine, no, they just look at, use a microscope. Like when you have indigestive problem, digestive issue, they cannot find what issue, then maybe they refer you to the heart, the cardiologist. And when the cardiologist cannot find the problem, they will say, go to the nerve, the nerve expert. When the nerve cannot find it, they ask you, go to the psychiatrist. So they are separate different, different area. In fact, it's not. It's just one area. We are a human as a whole. So the most important is the yang energy, our qi, to have to flow in our body more smooth, more stronger. Then that any problem will be fixed. So have to be more happier, laugh more. When we laugh, actually our brain doesn't know we are real laugh or fake laugh. But as long as this movement, your dopamine will, secretion out. That's scientific proof. So there's a different layer. We don't just use say Feng Shui. We do the Feng Shui and we don't do anything, then we will be well. It's not. So as I told some of my clients, they do the Feng Shui better. You have to work. No, you will be forced to work harder. You will be forced to work harder. It's not like you got good Feng Shui, is sitting at home, someone, then bring you some money. No, it doesn't work that way. In the Chinese saying is the heaven repay those who work hard. The heaven pays those who work hard. Yes.
You're right, Ron.
Okay.
Yes. So I'm borrowing time from a question session after our comfort break. So we're going to do one last question and then we'll have our comfort break and we'll go for your Melbourne evening. Felicity's asking how important is the person's astrological chart in relation to the house, both past and present residents, to the chi?
Wow. So in Yuan system, SYYG, we will look at the person birth year instead of the whole chart. Unless we want to activate relationship, we will use the day pillar. But if we generally to activate someone's career, the wealth or luck, we use just the birth year. It's good enough because the birth year will be, you can find on the 24 mountain, because the 24 mountain we have the 10 stem and the branches, right? In fact, it's 8, but the Wu and Ji is in the center, in the middle. So actually, it's still 10 of them. And sometimes I to give confidence on my client when I auditing analysis their house they move in. I will tell them what happened to the previous tenants or owner. Last year, I was in Sydney, and this guy bought a house, wanted to do renovation, and I was invited to do it. And he asked me, what happened to the previous owner? Then I look at the floor plan, I say, someone had an affair. Then he find out, he asked the real estate agent and find out, really, the wife has an affair. So actually, you can see that. So sometimes it's very, very interesting. Yeah, with the Feng Shui. Yeah. Because the Feng Shui, we have the the time factor, like the year, the stem and branch, the time factor. We look at the stem and branch more than look at the flying star, the annual flying star. The annual flying star just a little bit helpful. It's not that strong. It's not that powerful. In my opinion, maybe you learn some of you learn flying star. You think flying star is very powerful, but maybe it is powerful, but it's not 100%.
I got it. And finally, Will's just saying, what's your definition of chi? He's asking for your definition of chi.
My definition of chi is the air, the chi. In the book of burial, the first sentence already talk about the chi. Chi is, you rise up into the sky, come down as rain and water. So the chi is the mother of water. So when the chi accumulate, it becomes water. Like the condensation, you look at the chi condensation and become water. So, or you can look at air, chi. Chi is vital because if no chi, we all die, right? No wind, we all die. No water, we all die. We not exist. If we think of a bigger, broader definition to Feng Shui, wind and water. If the world has no wind, no water, we all cannot exist. So wind, yeah.
Got it. And thank you so much. We're going to end the presentation now. And if you switch, Master Edgar, your screen to gallery, you'll see everybody either waving their hands or thanking you. If you put gallery view, I'm going to do gallery view as well. And then you can see everybody on the gallery.
Get gallery.
Thank you.
Wait. Okay, so
lovely. That is great. Thank you so much.
This is great. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Excellent. I'm glad we had that recorded as well. Bless you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Good. Thank you.